You're watching Your View.
Thank you for joining us. This is Scott Kaplan and Crew Tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM SoCal Sports Talk. Here's Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner.
Hey, great friends. We welcome you back inside the 7 Mile Casino studios of Kaplan and Crew with Grande and the Brown Man. It is a Tuesday afternoon. If you're listening to us on the radio on 1090's airwaves, great to have everybody along. If you are catching up on YouTube, stay with us because I'm sure those of you that are in the YouTube chat are going to have a lot to say about the next story we're going to talk about. And for those of you that are going to catch up with us on television tonight, this will be a follow-up of what we were talking about last evening. So everybody just chill. We have a great show coming up for you, and we got a lot of things we want to get into. But I want to start with this, Grande and Alex. I don't know if you got Grande and Browner. Let me rephrase
Grande.
Okay.
Right. Yep. Grande and Browner.
Yes.
I did not get a chance to hear the Browner and Burt show last night on 1090, and I have not yet gone back and watched it on YouTube. But I got a few people hitting me up on Twitter saying, Burt Grossman, who yesterday morning replaced me on KUSI, Burt is saying that I did not resign from KUSI. And in fact, I got fired by KUSI. Now, we can agree to disagree, and I will gladly share all details. I have no problem with it at all. I'm very confident in my position. But Browner, what did Burt say last night on the radio?
Burt came after you, man. Burt came after you big time, dog. I can't wait till he's here on Wednesday, but he basically said that you tried to show up and write something on the internet to save face after they had fired you.
Okay.
That was his account.
Uh-huh. And that's well, let me do we have, Alex, do you have any audio or video of what Burt said yesterday on radio and television or radio and YouTube?
Wait, first of all, I told we discussed this on Kaplan and Crew last week.
We did, but
and
we
he
thought.
was acting, and I said, and he was acting like he didn't get fired. I'm like, dude, you got fired. I already got the call. He didn't believe me. And then he gonna put out something like he resigned today after I'm on air. I'm like,
wait,
dude, they know
okay,
that's
wait,
not you on air.
out.
And then like 10 minutes after I'm on air, he puts out I resign tweet. I'm like, come on, dude, you got fired.
Okay. All right. So I'm going back. I'm going back into my texts. Last Tuesday at 7:30 p.m., Burt sent me a text and said, "What happened at KUSI with you?" This is last Tuesday night. Okay. So a week ago today. Last Tuesday, he says, "What happened with you at KUSI?" I wrote, "They didn't like my pro-vaccination position on the NFL. So they wrote a nasty tweet and had all the anti-vaxxers tell me what a piece of crap I am. Then I liked tweets that said KUSI sucks for how they did me, and they were pissed about that. I told them that I'm fanning the flames that they created, but this is the owner's son at the control of their social media handles. He mischaracterized my position, didn't like that his employee liked the tweet that said they sucked, and I think the whole thing is funny that a news station would write such clickbait about their weekly contributor because according to their followers, now I'm a communist and they get pissed when I like the tweet." So listen, I'm happy to be as open and honest as possible. And here goes. Monday, I said what I said. They put out the clickbait. I liked several tweets that said that they sucked. Paul Rudy called me and said, "Scott, what are you doing?" I said, "I don't know. What am I doing?" He said, "You're liking tweets that says KUSI sucks. You work with us." Yes, I do. But yet you guys put out a tweet mischaracterizing what I said. I didn't demean anybody and I didn't shame anybody. If you have a problem with what the NFL's policy is, go talk to Roger Goodell. Go talk to Jerry Jones. I don't give a crap. Okay. But what I said was, if you're an NFL player and I'm on the team and I'm vaccinated and you're not, and you bring COVID to the locker room and we have to forfeit the game and I don't get paid and neither do the other guys on the team and neither do the other guys from the other team, you, sir, teammate, are a selfish teammate. That's what I said, and I stand by my position. So they write this clickbait nonsense, real professional here. Like if I'm an out-of-towner and I'm like I'm like a guest one day and they want to rip me, that's fine. I'm a weekly contributor. They paid me to show up every day, every Monday, to lend my opinion. That's what they did. They paid me money. In fact, they paid me $100 a week to be on their show. Hacksaw, who's on their weekend show, sent me an email yesterday going, "Wait, they were paying you?" I'm like, "Yeah, they don't pay you." So let it be known to everybody in town who goes on their shows for free. I got paid $100 a week. It wasn't that much money. So listen to this story. So, and this is, Bert says I got fired. Okay, that's fine. Here's my position. You ready? Look at Alex. Alex is laughing. Browner's laughing. Everybody's laughing about this.
I got a question because
Yeah,
I could.
Bro,
just
why
ask...
you blow Hacksaw
No.
up like that?
I'm not laughing at the Hacksaw thing. I was interested.
God.
I was interested in this story, because I thought you got paid more than $100 a week.
I
Now
know,
I think it's
did
funny.
too,
Now I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah.
This is just dumb now.
It was like it was
so
What?
okay, but now I'm gonna put you on blast. It's such a silly story now.
Oh
Then,
my God.
if you, we've not talked about this. You can be mad at me for what I'm about to say.
Yeah.
If you resigned,
Yeah.
show us the resignation.
Oh, okay, no problem. No problem. But
Right?
But yeah,
And
oh,
then
for
it's
sure.
over.
Oh, for sure.
And then it's
For
over.
sure. But here's the thing. Here's the one thing about my resignation versus what Bert is saying. Now here's where Bert's perspective is. Okay.
Ooh, I can't
Bert-
get my breath.
Bert gets a. How much money did you guys think I was being paid to do a 5-minute weekly hit?
Well, bro, more than $100 a week.
Are you kidding me?
Dude,
$100? I used to work there. Oh
I
my
thought-
God.
I was like, there's no way in hell Scott would go through the trouble.
All of this trouble.
All of this trouble. I'm not talking about this trouble. I'm talking about being ready every Monday morning,
driving
getting
down
set
there.
up. like setting yourself up or whatever for $100.
Okay, well let me back up for a second
God.
here. When they invited me to start coming on the show, just remember, there was no 1090 on the radio. I wasn't working for ESPN in
Right.
Los Angeles.
That's
And
fair.
for,
Get
all,
that.
and for all intent and purposes, I was generally unemployed. And
But
we were,
knowing you,
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Yeah.
And exposure and building the brand and all that, I 100% I get it.
Yeah.
But then you were on radio, and then you do have the ESPN,
Yeah.
and then I was like,
You
okay,
back now,
he
baby.
asked-
You back.
You asked for more money.
well, I didn't ask
There's
for
no-
more money. I really,
I just figured
no,
because
I
I
didn't.
know you,
yeah.
and I know you don't deal with like just like nuisances in your life, that I thought this was more of a nuisance. And
so-
they made it worth your while.
No, they never made it worth my while. I did it. Listen, when I used to have to drive down there pre-pandemic, I would always say to myself, what am I doing? It's between gas and time, I'm making like $5 an hour, you know?
Yeah.
So like, why am I doing this? And the reason I did it, I'm being honest with you guys. The reason I did it is because at the time, the show was only on podcast. There was no radio 1090. There was no Cox Your View. You know, we weren't on television 5 nights a week. I was just doing KUSI because I thought it was good exposure to help keep the brand alive. So that's why I did it. The money was never an issue. If they would have said to me, we don't pay you, we just want you to be a weekly contributor, I probably would have done it for free. Okay. So they offered to pay me.
Little do they
$100.
know.
Well, right. But so they offer me, they're like, look, we'll just pay you $100 a week, you know, just to come on. Okay, great. So you're right, Alex. Like it seemed like by just being home and turning on Zoom and going on television with them, it was easy. And it was, you know, the money, it was not why I was doing it. I was doing it for the exposure.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So now it's Tuesday of last week. I said what I said. They put out their clickbait. I liked a bunch of tweets that say they suck. They call me and tell me how dare I like those tweets because I'm their employee. Not their employee. I'm a weekly contributor making barely any money, and I'm only doing it for the exposure, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Bert asks me on Tuesday, what happened? So clearly by Tuesday night, Paul Rudy and whoever else in management there, they were positioning clearly to not have me back on Monday. So now it's like Thursday, Friday of last week, and Paul's real anal when it comes to making sure we're prepared for Monday because he tries to stick in like 20 minutes of content in 5 minutes. You know, instead of just saying, hey, look, let's talk about 2 or 3 things and stretch out, he wants to try and put too much into a segment. So I don't hear from him on Thursday or Friday. And I'm going, okay, you know what? Because remember, the owner's son, little Mikey McKinnon, he's at the controls of Twitter and Instagram.
Does he go by Little Mikey McKinney, or is this a Trump tactic, a nickname you gave him?
I mean, he's Mike Jr. or Mike the Third. So you have
How tall
Mike,
is he?
I don't know. I don't
Is
know
he
how tall
little?
he is. I don't know. You have the kid. Let's just call him. You have the owner's son. Okay. You have
Yeah.
the owner's
The
son.
little kid, Mikey.
You have the owner's son who's at control of the Twitter feed and of the Instagram feed. And he clearly didn't like what I said. So rather than saying like, hey, our weekly contributor Scott Kaplan felt this way, instead he says I demeaned and I shamed, etc. Okay. So Paul calls me, Paul Rudy, and said, "Why are you liking these tweets that are anti-KUSI?" And I'm like, "Because you guys started it and I'm fanning the flames. And if you know anything about how media works, you put out clickbait. I like the other side. We're going like this. We're in a rotation. This is what you wanted, isn't it? Is it not what you guys wanted? That's why you put out this clickbait." So now Bert asks me on Tuesday. I don't hear from Paul Thursday, Friday. I send a text message to Paul and to Tommy Sablon. Since you want to put me on blast, I'll just put people's names out there. Tommy Sablon is the producer for the morning show at KUSI. Now, do you guys know Tommy? Do you guys know who he is?
I
I
don't.
think I do. Yeah, I think I
What
do.
what do you know of Tommy?
Last time, if I remember correctly, he was working on the afternoon because that's when I started. But I don't really know him, but
Okay.
I know that
But
name.
but anybody in San Diego who's a radio fan, longtime radio fan, might know the name Little Tommy Sablon. Actually, that's what he goes by, Little Tommy. He was the producer on the Jeff and Jer show. Great
Oh
guy.
no, I don't know that guy. No, I don't know
Okay,
that guy.
yeah,
Sorry.
great guy, terrific philanthropist here in town. He's just a great guy. And so Tommy always sets a Zoom call on Friday afternoon for Monday morning. I don't get the Zoom call. So I'm saying to myself, these guys aren't going to welcome me back because here's my plan. My plan is to go on television and quit on the air, to literally say, "Paul, unacceptable, not doing it," and to quit on the air. And you know why I was going to do that? You have any idea why would I quit on live television?
Well, it would
For the
definitely.
clicks.
Yeah.
Right, to clickbait them back. Right, I admit it, to clickbait them back. So now Bert's been contacted, and Bert, good friend that Bert is, doesn't say to me, "Hey, listen, they're already asking me about Monday morning." Of course, Bert doesn't say anything like that, right? So now I go ahead.
We said it on the show
He said it on the show.
last week. Yeah.
He
Mhm.
said that
I just think I don't think any of us believed him.
right.
But yeah,
I
he
didn't
said
at
it like a
all.
bunch of times on the show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So now, I don't hear from them, and I go, you know what? They're not going to welcome me back, which kind of hurts my plan to quit on the air. So I send a text to Paul and I say, "Paul, what's going on for Monday?" He's like, "Hey, you know what, man? You need to get together with the owner of the station. You guys need to have a beer together and you guys need to work through any differences because they consider you family and they really love you, but they're kind of pissed about this." And you know what they were really pissed about last week? That the 7 Mile Casino sign behind me was on their air. In fact, if you go back and you look at the tweet, they've blanked it out. They're like, 7 Mile Casino doesn't advertise on KUSI. Therefore, we're not letting that sign go on TV. So I figure I'm going to quit on live TV, but now I'm sensing that they're not going to welcome me back. Paul Rudy tells me, go sit down with the owner, have a beer, and work it out. Now back to the money. I'm like, dude, for what you guys pay me, for the amount of time it takes me, my Sunday nights get occupied with research and getting ready. My Monday mornings are rushed because I got to get ready. You guys are never on time. It always takes longer than expected. You know what, man? I said this to Paul. I said, "Paul, thank you, but no thank you. I'm not going to meet with the owner. I'm not going to kiss his ass. I don't make enough money to do so, and I'm just not having it. Thank you anyway." Tommy, I sent.
What would the conversation during that beer been like? Like, what were they gonna say to you? What were you gonna say to them? Like, what were they gonna say? "Hey, man, don't say we suck." Like, what?
I mean, listen, dude, I'm going to just I'm going to advance this story in one quick second, but I just want to get back to Tommy for 1 second. So Tommy says to me, I said, "Tommy, I'm going to assume that I'm not welcome back this Monday." And Tommy says, "Scott, we should take a pause. Okay. And then we'll come back next week or something like that." And I literally said to him, "No pause needed. I'm resigning. Thank you anyway." So Bert can say that I got fired. And truth be told, they clearly were not welcoming me back on Monday because their son of the owner got his panties in a wad. He sent out clickbait and didn't have thick enough skin to know that I was fanning the flames, which is exactly what they wanted. So I decide rather than let them fire me, which nobody even has the guts to call me, not Paul, not Tommy, not McKinnon, not the kid, not one guy's got the balls to pick up the phone and just say, hey, listen, man, we're canceling Monday morning. We're going to use Bert instead. Bert's better because you know what? He does PPR with us on Friday nights. We're going to just keep Bert. Thanks for your contribution. We're done. Not one person at KUSI has the guts to even pick up the phone and say that to me. So I decide, since nobody's communicating with me, and I also, the money's not enough, the time is too much, this is a pain in my ass, screw it, I'm resigning. So I have all the tweets, or excuse me, all the texts to show that I resign. I just didn't want to put them out for public consumption. I didn't think it was that big of a freaking deal. Last night,
Oh, we've been talking about it for a week, so it's obviously a big deal.
well, to me it is, not to everybody else. Last night, Paul Rudy, I run into Paul Rudy. You know what Paul Rudy tells me? This is what
Good.
he said. No, this is what he tells me last night. You played this all wrong.
Ooh.
I said, really? What did I do all wrong? He said, if I were you, what I would have done is I would have called the owner of the station and said, hey, what you and your kid did to me is totally unacceptable. And now, if you want me on TV every week, now my rate is double. So now I'm going to get $200 rather than $100. And here's what I told him, Paul, I don't care about the money, man. $400 a month, $800 a month, $1,000 a month. It's not enough money to really get into a whole discussion with you guys, to argue with you, to have to go kiss the ass of the owner. It's not worth it to me. It just, the amount of time on Sunday night that it takes. My girlfriend was saying to me, every Sunday night by 7 o'clock, you're like, I'm done. I got to go. I got to start researching. She's like, your whole Sunday night is ruined. You know, we can't spend the night together on Sunday because you got to be up super early on Monday. She's like, just quit. So that's what I did. I said, thank Tommy Sablon, love you, buddy. Don't need to push pause. Paul Rudy, thank you very much for suggesting I go kiss the owner's ass. I'm not doing it. Okay. So all of this is happening. This morning, I promise you, this is a true story. I get a call today from one of the producers
Oh.
down at KUSI. And here's what this kid says to me. Hey, man, I saw your tweet yesterday where you were talking about what it is to work for a bully and how bad it sucks when you're desperate for a job and you have no choice. Dude, that really resonated with me because that's the circumstance I find myself in. And by the way, I'm not alone. A lot of people at KUSI feel the exact same way. We all need the jobs. We don't want to give up our good jobs, and we're all being bullied. And while many of us don't believe in the owner's agenda, we're pushing it because we all want to keep our jobs. And I'm like, bro, I get it. I've been there. I worked for the Union Tribune when Doug Manchester owned it. I worked for 1090 when John Lynch owned it. And those guys are big. They have agendas. And when they want those agendas pushed and you work for those guys, you have no choice if you want to keep your job. I've been in that position before. And anybody who's in a position where they're being bullied in their job, it sucks. Okay. And so for me, Bert can come on and he can talk all the smack he wants to talk that I was fired. Okay. And I'm being honest. I don't think I was going to be welcome. I know I wasn't going to be welcome back. But before any of them could contact me and say, thanks, but we're not going to have you back, I contacted them and said, no problem. I'm resigning. I don't need it to cool down. I don't need to kiss the owner's ass. I'm resigning. I'm out. So, Bert, being who Bert is, of course, God forbid Bert could call me off air and go, hey, listen, they're already asking me to fill in for you on Monday. So I guess you're not going to be back. But, that's not Bert. Bert has to do what Bert does, which, by the way, I thought was funny because my girlfriend said to me last night, she goes, well, are you going to keep paying Bert, to do Browner and Bert? Are you going to keep paying him? Because this is a guy who now, kind of goes on radio on a show that you produce and kind of beats up on you. And I'm like, see, that's the difference between me and KUSI. I actually like that Bert does this. Bert is fanning the flames, and I appreciate that, whereas they did not. So me, I'm not like, well, we don't want Bert on the Browner and Bert show anymore. Keep mixing it up, man. I'm all for it.
Let me ask you a real question.
Go ahead.
And this probably, I don't know if this happened or if this didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
Did your girlfriend ever offer you $100 to quit?
Did she offer me, I'll give you the $100 so you can quit?
Yeah.
We can spend Sunday nights together.
She did not offer me the $100.
I'll give you $400 a month.
Yeah. I mean,
she's a very successful businesswoman. I know she's got it in her couch somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, listen, man, I really wasn't doing it for the money. And that's what I told Paul Rudy last night. I said, Paul, I wasn't doing it for the money. I was doing it for the exposure. for the show. I was doing it so that we could tell people Kaplan and Crew is on the radio at 3:00. You can find us on YouTube. I mean, I was doing it to promote us. But, listen, the audience that watches KUSI, they may or may not be the same people that will tune in to 1090. I just look, Bert can say I was fired, and I will tell you honestly, I don't think I would. Well, I know for sure I wasn't going to be welcome back this past Monday. Could I have fixed it and repaired the relationship? Sure, I could have. Did I want to do it? No. I'm definitely not sucking up to bullies, not at this stage of my career. So there you have it.
Good for you,
That's
bro.
that's my truth.
Shout out.
Still getting killed on Twitter.
Well, you're a communist, so.
There's all these people that know a whole lot about science, apparently.
Joe, hey, man, Facebook Tech, baby. Facebook U. They got a whole epidemiology section now.
Well, hey, let me tell you something right now. I like a homegrown controversy. Okay, I like mixing it up, and believe me when I tell you, I liked sleeping in a little bit more on Monday mornings. I liked sleeping in the same bed with my girlfriend on Sunday night. All right, and it's all good by me. And go enjoy Bert on Monday mornings on KUSI when they're asking him about something that he had no exposure to, didn't watch, didn't care, hasn't prepped. That's Bert. Bert just gets away with being Bert, as he'll be tonight at 6:00 on 1090. We're right back.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
Kaplan and Crew tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
Hey, Dave Smith here. Make sure you listen to my show on the Mightier 1090, 6 to 10 p.m. Saturday and Sunday night. The only local sports talk in all of Southern California on the weekends, right here on the Mightier 1090.
The all-new and mightier 1090.
Great things can be achieved when a community comes together. Join Erica Cardenas on Doing More as she introduces you to ordinary people working side by side to confront tremendous challenges and make a positive impact in their community. Watch Doing More Sunday night at 6 on YourView or stream it online at yourview.com. Doing More is brought to you by California Hope. Hope lives here.
At La Jolla Cosmetic, we try to help people achieve well-being. And we feel that it's not only important to look good, but also feel good inside. And honestly, what a better opportunity to help my community than being a supporter of an organization such as Las Patronas.
The mission of Las Patronas is to provide financial assistance to local nonprofits that are providing valuable community services in the areas of health, education, social services, and cultural arts. La Jolla Cosmetic has been one of our biggest supporters at Las Patronas, so we couldn't do what we do without their support.
You feel the need and you see the need because we go to visit each grant applicant.
Partnering with groups that are actually dedicated to help your community, it's the best thing that you can do as a responsible business.
Time now for Kaplan and Crew tonight's Community Connect.
Shelter to Soldiers selects dogs from shelters and rescue groups all throughout California. Our ideal candidate at Shelter to Soldier is 8 months to a year and a half old. They're confident in different environments, they have strong social drive. Another motivator like food or toy drive. And ultimately, these are dogs that want to have a job and that have a greater purpose to become a service dog. Currently, about 85% of our dogs pass their service dog training. But if they don't pass, they become a career change. We don't like to use the word failure around here. So career change to an emotional support animal, or if that doesn't work out, then they career change to a pet dog. Still finding a loving placement and purpose in life.
Welcome to the Jacobs & Cushman San Diego Food Bank and our 90,000 square foot facility. We feed 350,000 people every single month. Many people ask, how can I help? You can volunteer for the San Diego Food Bank. Just go to san-diegofoodbank.org, register to volunteer. No group is too small, no group is too large, but those volunteers are integral to our success in feeding the community. Another way you can help is by hosting a food drive. Just go online and register your group, your company, or organization. It's that easy. Another great way is through our virtual food drive, where you can literally buy food on our behalf. Lastly, another great way to make an impact is to go online and make a financial contribution to the San Diego or North County Food Bank. On behalf of the San Diego Food Bank, our staff, our volunteers, and the 350,000 people we serve every month, thank you for helping us fight hunger and feed hope in San Diego County.
Hey, it's Pharrell here, inviting you to catch my shows on the Mightier 1090. We're on twice every Monday through Friday, 1 to 3 p.m. and 7 to 9 p.m. Pacific. Trust me, all the other sports stations are sleeping with your wife.
The all-new and Mightier 1090.
Sometimes they say it might work, it might not work. And so I ask myself the question, like, why even get the vaccine if it can also harm you? For me, it's like taking a 50-50 chance.
Hi, Andrea. Some say that the vaccine is harmful or that it might not work, but that's not true. Millions of people have been vaccinated with no ill effects, and I can tell you that getting the vaccine is far safer than not getting it.
Welcome to the Jacobs & Cushman San Diego Food Bank and our 90,000 square foot facility. We feed 350,000 people every single month. Many people ask, how can I help? You can volunteer for the San Diego Food Bank. Just go to san-diegofoodbank.org, register to volunteer. No group is too small, no group is too large, but those volunteers are integral to our success in feeding the community. Another way you can help is by hosting a food drive. Just go online and register your group, your company, or organization. It's that easy. Another great way is through our virtual food drive, where you can literally buy food on our behalf. Lastly, another great way to make an impact is to go online and make a financial contribution to the San Diego or North County Food Bank. On behalf of the San Diego Food Bank, our staff, our volunteers, and the 350,000 people we serve every month, thank you for helping us fight hunger and feed hope in San Diego County.
Here's Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout with Haley Stasiak.
The San Diego Loyal got a big win against the LA Galaxy 2 on Sunday, 2-0. Corey Herzog celebrated his birthday with a goal and an assist in the win. The goal was his 70th USL goal. He earned the USLChampionship.com Man of the Match for his performance. Tumi Moshabane scored the Loyal's other goal. Moshabane has now scored 3 times in the last 4 outings. Goalkeeper Austin Guerrero was named to the USL Team of the Week for the 2nd time this season. He recorded a 5-save shutout against the Galaxy 2. Next up for the Loyal is a match against Real Monarchs on Saturday. San Diego sits just behind Orange County Soccer Club at number 3 in the Pacific Division heading into the weekend. That's your 60-second timeout. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew tonight.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's 60-second timeout is presented by Your View.
Classic Game Time. The best games from the past season on Your View.
It's like the spirit of Greenwood is all over the place in Tulsa, North Tulsa specifically. It's like it's not just one location anymore.
This is the beginning. This is a launching pad. This is not something that we just did to come together just for this moment.
The Spirit of Greenwood is brought to you by Multicultural Health Foundation. The vaccine can protect us. Will you? Verify and trust.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and Crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and Crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
You're watching Kaplan and Crew tonight, powered by the mightier 1090 and Your View, featuring the best sports talk in SoCal.
Hey, great friends. Welcome back inside the 7 Mile Casino Studios. It's Kaplan and Crew on the airwaves of 1090 on the stream of YouTube. Tonight between 7 and 8 p.m., you'll find us on television, Channel 4 San Diego, Channel 4 Santa Barbara. And if you're in Palos Verdes or Orange County, it's Channel 118, part of the Cox Your View network. And as always, you can find us on all the audio podcast platforms. But easiest thing to do, just visit our website, kaplanandcrew.com. Browner's got a new blog. So check that out. And so read Browner's blog there on the kaplanandcrew.com website. Plus find out all about our advertisers. You can find all of our tweets, our Instagram posts, our Facebook posts, all of our podcasts, our YouTubes, everything. By the way, I'd like to see our YouTube finally get up to like 5,000. We're at like 4,960 subscribers. My God, can we just get up to 5,000 and cross that threshold already? So again, share, like, comment, tell your friends, help build the Great Friends community. Fellas, we talked in the last segment about our homegrown controversy. Let's flip it and let's bring it back to like real stuff that people are talking about, not just us internally. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I watched the Giants play last night against Arizona. It was an 8-8 ball game going into extra innings. The Giants wound up winning the game last night. Dodgers were off last night, although they'll start a series tonight against Houston. And this is the first time the Astros will be at Dodger Stadium with fans in attendance. So I know the storyline going into this game tonight, at least for Dodger fans, is that they want a piece of the Houston Astros. My opinion is, bro, it's 4 years later.
Nope.
Okay? It's 4 years later, and you've already won a World Series. But you just said no. And I think a lot of Dodger fans feel exactly the same way you feel. Why do you feel that way, Alex?
I'm a believer in the more content, the better. So the way and plus really the way the Dodger fans treated them in Houston, imagine what that's going to be like in Los Angeles. It's not over for them because they never got their shot back at them in person. And I think the MLB did it very strategically with their scheduling this year to only have Houston going there for 2 games, I believe it is. So they knew what they were doing as well. That's why I say this is their 2 games. I believe Walker Buehler pitches tonight and Max Scherzer pitches tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's going to be raucous and rowdy in Los Angeles. I'm going to be tuning into that one, at least the first couple innings, over the Padres tonight.
Yeah. I mean, there's going to be 50,000 plus people in Dodger Stadium tonight who all want to show the Astros players how they feel about them. Manager has changed. Players have come and gone. Dodgers have already won a World Series since this is going back to 2017. But this fan base, the Dodger fan base, wants a piece of the Astros players. And I'll say this. If you are a Houston Astros fan and you have the balls to show up at Dodger Stadium wearing anything that says Houston Astros on it, be prepared for an ass whooping. Because let me tell you something. Dodger fans like to beat up other Dodger fans. Now you get a chance on a night like tonight with 50,000 people and that sort of energy and buzz and booze going around, and you've got somebody who's a Houston Astros fan say I showed up at Dodger Stadium wearing my Astros gear. Get ready, because let me tell you something, man. That's a dangerous spot to be in. I wouldn't be doing that.
Dog, Dodger fans would fight Mike Tyson if he walked through the concourse in an Astros outfit. They don't care. Hands will be thrown. So for your own safety, please don't wear no Astros gear to the Dodgers game tonight. Please don't.
Oh, do it.
Well, yeah, because the videos will come to us tomorrow.
Yeah, man, but that that would be for some reason that feels like that's real like bad blood. Normally these fights are just drunk dudes who are disagreeing over one player. Like this is an entire fan base, an entire game of baseball mad at one organization and one franchise. So it's gonna get ugly.
I think if you're dumb enough to show up in Astros gear and be like, kind of in people's face about it, you know what you're doing. You know what you're going there for. So I do think that there'll be like Astros fans sprinkled in here and there, but you can be like front row and not really be bothered. It's just you could be bothered on your way to the car. But I've been to many Dodger games. I know how it works. Just walk your ass to the car, and nothing will happen. The moment you turn around and say, "What?" You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. Don't even respond.
Seriously, it's dangerous.
You
It
know
is
how there's
dangerous.
how sometimes you're like walking. We got a lot of homeless people in San Diego. Sometimes you're just walking and there's like a dude just yelling, or like yesterday there was a video of a guy on the freeway like just going mad. Like how you just ignore it and walk the other way or walk around it. Do that at Dodger Stadium if you're an Astros fan. Don't
Yeah.
treat everybody like that. Like don't engage with anything.
I saw last week a friend of mine went to a Dodger game, and I don't even remember who the Dodgers were playing. And he was wearing a Tatis jersey. So he's from San Diego. He's a Padres fan, and he wanted to represent because he was going to a Dodger game. And again, I don't even remember who they were playing. It wasn't the Padres. And I said to him, I go, dude, you need to be very careful inside Dodger Stadium wearing that Tatis jersey. And he said, why? What's the big deal? I said, there's going to be some drunk guy who's going to be an idiot, who's going to say to you, how dare you rock that Tatis jersey here at Dodger Stadium? Again, it's not like the Padres were there playing where you're representing. It was just a random Tatis jersey on a
I
day.
hate that.
I know. And so I'm like, dude, you got to be really careful. There are certain stadiums that you just have to know you got to be really careful.
But your friend,
Dodger Stadium's one of the tops.
Your friend into again scrapping?
No, there was no scrap.
No, but is he into it?
Right.
Oh, God, no, he's not into scrapping.
So why would he do that?
Is he showing up to the game in his Tatis jersey with no undershirt?
No, he actually had it unbuttoned and had a white T-shirt underneath it. You guys know him. It's my man Cameron Azir, who filled in for Alex while he was gone. And Cameron's like one of the sweetest, nicest kids on the planet. And he's a big guy. He's like 6'4", but he's not like big and huge and built like where you don't want to mess with him.
He would get taken down in Dodger Stadium.
Easily.
Right, of course.
What the hell's
Oh
the
my
matter
God.
with him?
I know. He taken down like a lion chasing like an antelope. You know what I mean? Like he would be taken down in 2 seconds,
Yeah.
And I was like, Cameron, what are you doing, man? Don't wear a Tatis jersey to Dodger Stadium, even if the freaking Padres are playing.
You get away with it. The Padres playing, but like that, you're just trying to ask for trouble at that point, Cameron.
Come on, Cameron. You better than that, dog.
Do better.
Anyways,
dog.
I'm very
Do better.
excited about that tonight, though. I really am. I think
So
just
am I.
because remember the Joe Kelly situation in Houston, and obviously that giant group of Dodger fans in Houston this year. So I think they always produce something. That's really what I'm looking forward to. And then also the Astros beating the Dodgers would be great because it kind of like slaps them in their face a little bit.
Yeah. Well, the Padres could really use it because if we put up right now on the screen, Alex, for everybody, let's take a look at the wild card. No, check me. Let's take a look at the National League West standings first. Because yesterday I said we've been on standings watch and we've been following the leaderboard all season long, and it's just getting worse by the day. The Giants played last night and they won. They beat Arizona in extra innings. The Dodgers didn't play last night. They're 3.5 games back. The Padres didn't play. They're 7 games back. And we all know what's going on with Tatis. We know about the story with Chris Paddock. We also understand how the starting pitching has, especially the top 2, have not lived up to their reputations. And that's a huge problem for the Padres. So now, because we've been watching the standings and it's starting to look like the Padres are falling apart. Like, again, the Dodgers are getting Mookie Betts back. They've gotten Corey Seager back. They're going to get Kershaw back. They just got better with Scherzer. They're going to get Trey Turner when he comes off the COVID list. I mean, everything the Dodgers are doing, they're going to get better and better. For the Padres, Darvish isn't performing. Snell isn't performing. Paddock is on the injured list. Say it one more time.
He pitches tonight.
And he pitches tonight. Yeah, Blake Snell does. And on the road where he's been even worse. You got Tatis out all of a sudden. I mean, I'm telling you, like the Dodgers are getting healthier and they're getting reinforcements and they're getting superstars back or incorporated into their team. The Padres are falling apart due to injury and lack of performance.
And don't forget, we keep talking about the Dodgers. The Giants are pretty damn good too. They're not losing either. And they just got Chris Bryant. What have we said about the Giants all year? Like they don't really have that big name offensive guy. Yeah, they have names, Brandon Crawford, Buster Posey. They have these guys there, but they're not like having these massive numbers. Now they got Chris Bryant. So now they have that anchor into their offensive lineup as well. And the Giants are beating the teams they're supposed to. The Padres are not. So we can look at the Dodgers because they're the closest ones to the Padres for that top wild card spot. But I think you're looking at the two best teams in baseball, the Giants and Dodgers. That's it. That's a fact.
Well, let's do this. Let's take a look now, because while we see the standings and the Padres are 7 games back, and without Tatis and without their top 2 pitchers performing and without them really making a big splash during the trade deadline, in my estimation, and I hope I'm proven wrong, the Padres are trending downward, whereas the Dodgers and the Giants are still both trending upward. So now, rather than looking at the standings in the NL West, it's time now on Kaplan and crew to start the wild card watch. Yes, that is right. It is time.
Do we have like a wah 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 wah?
I didn't know Scott was gonna. I didn't know Scott
That's
was gonna.
it.
I didn't know he was gonna go all in
Oh.
on
I'm
the
all
wild
in.
card.
Oh, I'm all in.
Because I made it for myself, because I said yesterday the Padres are not going to win the National League West. So I made it for myself and the crowd that believes what I believe. I don't know if people still believe that the Padres are going to win the National League West. So I made both. I didn't know
Okay.
Scott was going to go all in. Now I can get a little sounder.
I'm way all in on it, because this is what I said yesterday. I'm like, dude, we got to stop worrying about the NL West. We got to start worrying about who's behind us in the wild card watch. So put it up on the screen for everybody who's watching on YouTube and everybody who's going to be watching on TV later tonight. And for those of you that are listening on radio or on podcast, Alex will walk us through this, because there's actually a few things that I think we need to talk about as we get ready for the Padres and the A's, the Dodgers and the Astros, and we continue to watch what's happening between the Giants and the Diamondbacks. Go ahead, Alex.
I don't
Put
know
the
what-
wild card watch
I don't know
up
what
on the
the
screen.
sound is, but it says fanfare.
Okay.
I like that way better. For some reason. Oh man,
All right,
that is
how about this?
fanfare.
All right, how about this? It's
All right.
now time for wild card watch. All right,
That's
here's what
definitely a
it looks
kazoo.
like.
That's definitely a kazoo.
Definitely a kazoo. Man.
All right,
That's
Alex, what do we
funny.
got here, man?
So here we go. Right now, the Dodgers are in the first spot of the wild card. They are 3.5 games up on the Padres. The Padres, obviously, the second wild card spot. They have a 4-game lead over the Cincinnati Reds, who played the Twins today, and they have a 6.5-game lead over the Cardinals. Both those teams behind the Padres. So that is the official Kaplan and crew wild card watch that I will update every day.
Okay, but now, if you're going to say that the Padres are trending downward, and I believe that they are right now, and it's unfortunate. Again, top of the rotation, not performing, and you've lost your best player to a shoulder injury yet again for like the 4th time this season, and we just don't know when Tatis will be back, and if he does come back, will he be what he was each time he has come back? So, because you got to just think the injury just keeps getting perpetuated and possibly made worse. Alex, put up on the screen for everybody what's going on right now, because you just showed the wild card watch, but let's take a look at the future schedule, because for the Cincinnati Reds, who are nipping at the Padres, their schedule is going to be a whole lot easier. And for the Padres, their schedule is getting a lot more difficult. Let's take a look at this and walk us through this.
So it's a lot. If you're watching the show, it's a lot, but I'll just read it to everybody listening right now. The upcoming schedule for the Reds, the remainder of the season. Their opponents have a .464 win percentage, which is the lowest remaining opponent schedule in the National League. 13 of their remaining 46 games are against the Pirates, who are awful and traded their best player to the Padres. They are They only have 15 games left against teams with records above 500. Everybody get that? How easy that is on paper?
Mhm.
As for the Padres, their remaining opponents' win percentage is .516. That's the second highest toughest schedule remaining in the National League. And of course, we all know they play the Dodgers and Giants 19 times, but 16 of their final 22 games at the end of the year, which is what Browner's always saying that he likes, are against the Dodgers or the Padres. 16 of the final 22 games for the Padres in the season are against the Giants.
That's why I'm not
and
giving
Dodgers.
up. That's why I'm not giving
Yeah.
up.
No, put it back on the screen for just one more second. That's the important part of all of this is, look, the Padres schedule is going to be more difficult. It's the second hardest remaining, because the win percentage of the teams that the Padres are facing is 500 and above. And a lot of those games are Dodgers and Giants, two best teams.
But that's
in all
why
of
the
baseball right
percentage
now.
is so high.
Right. But to your point, Browner, okay, if they get Darvish back to where he was, if Blake Snell can go back to being who he was, if they can possibly at some point get Paddock back because he was starting to look a lot better, and if they can get Tatis back and he's 100%, or playing like he's 100%, even though his shoulder's still messed up, then maybe the Padres against the Giants and the Dodgers can make up the ground that they've lost. Maybe they can. But again, both of those teams, the Giants adding Chris Bryant and the Dodgers adding Scherzer and Trey Turner, but I also would say adding Mookie Betts and Corey Seager as well, because remember, those guys have been out.
And
It's
Cody.
going to be and who?
Cody Bellinger, if he's healthy now.
Yep. I mean, all of these things tell you that the Giants have improved, the Dodgers have significantly improved on paper, and the Padres are not improving on paper. And the schedule is going to get that much more difficult. Will they have a head-to-head opportunity? Yes, they will. What will their team be versus what will the Dodgers and the Giants be when they do have this final face-off of the year? We'll find out. But I'm just telling you right now, reality is starting to sink in, which is why we're going to be watching the wild card every day. And we got to keep our eyes on the teams that are trailing right now.
I do think that the Padres, and I think obviously the head-to-head matchups have shown they're a better team than the Reds. I also think like if you take away those 16 games, which you can't, but the remaining of the Padres schedule is very easy. We've talked about it here before, who they have coming up, who they're playing right now. It's about performing right now against, well, the A's are good. But when the Diamondbacks come to town, you got to win those games. You can't split against the Rockies anymore. You can't split against the Diamondbacks anymore. You got to win those series. I will say, I do think if Tatis comes back, which is still a big if, there was improvement. There's no AC did report there was no further damage. The MRI revealed so it's just like another pop out. So if he comes back, I also think the Padres improved. I think they got a bullpen guy, which they desperately needed because it's the most taxed bullpen in the league. They got another outfield utility guy who is a good, decent hitter. And they got an all-star. And let's not forget that as far as his big name, yeah, he's not Trey Turner, but they got a guy who's hitting 320 and is a top of the lineup clutch hitter. So I do think the Padres got better, which is why I believe they will easily be in the wild card. I just don't think they'll win the NL West, but I think they will be one of two in the wild card.
Well, they got to start getting some good pitching out of guys like Darvish and Snell. Put up on the screen for everybody, because tonight, like we mentioned, Dodgers and Astros is an interesting national story. And I guess, again, if you're following the NL West, you're going to want to keep an eye on that game, hoping that the Astros win, but enjoying the Dodger fans going off on the Astros. But Blake Snell pitching tonight for the Padres against the A's. And in particular, Snell on the road this season, not been good. For those of you that are listening, we'll read it to you. For those of you that are watching, you're going to be able to see this on your screen. Go for it, Alex.
In 11 starts, he's 1-3. He's only pitched 42 innings in those 11 starts. You can do the math there. His ERA is 8.02, and opponents are batting 302 against him. Whereas at home, I believe they're hitting like 190 against him. No bueno.
Nope. Browner's eyes just rolled. Browner's leaned back.
And
like,
they're facing the dude that hit them last week, basically. Sean Manaea. He went like 6 hitless innings against them last week.
He had like 6 perfect innings.
Yeah,
against the Padres,
so he's facing him tonight.
I was as happy as anybody else when Blake Snell came over from the Rays. But you can't cover what we just saw. You can't cover that up. That's bad. That's real bad. That's not reassuring at all. Luckily, I mean, maybe staying in the state of California will help the mojo. But I don't know, man.
I love the confidence that he has every time he has a bad game. I love like what he sounds like. I love what he says.
Right.
I love the reality that he knows, like how bad he has been. But at a certain point, that it's cool to say all the nice things and the right things and acknowledge that you haven't been good.
Right.
But at some point, you got to go out there and consistently perform. Be better.
Right. I know. Hey, give me a minute before we keep going here to talk about one of our great sponsors on the Kaplan and Crew show. And I'm going to talk about Corky's Pest Control. 1-800-901-1102 is the phone number. But I just want to remind everybody, because I'm seeing a lot of Corky's TV commercials. And what Corky is doing is he's using his technicians and using an Olympic theme to make it look as though pest control services are Olympic events. It's very cute. It's very clever. Okay. But the most important message on the commercial is not that, hey, we're cute and clever with our commercials. Rather, the one message that Corky wants everybody to know is Google the word Corky's. That's it. It's super important to them. They've spent a lot of time and energy on search engine optimization, SEO, for those of you that are down with the software lingo. I'm telling you that when you search online in Google for something, getting to the top of the page is how you succeed. It's how you get more customers. It's how you get more eyeballs clicking through. So what Corky says on his TV commercials is very simply, Google one word, Corky's. That's it. Simple. Just Google the word Corky's, not pest control, not San Diego pest control, not LA pest control. Just Google the word Corky's. Now, many of you already have it stuck in your brain, the phone number, but for those of you that don't, just Google the word Corky's and you will get to Corky's Pest Control. Or you can do what we like to do. You can call 1-800-901-1102.
Corky's.
Hey now.
How about that? How about that?
Pretty good.
There we go.
Pretty good.
Mix that up.
You know, Alex, I see your Padres swag chain T-shirt behind you on your Callaway golf bag.
Yeah.
I got to tell you something, man. People have been calling for me to put my swag chain T-shirt back on so that the Padres could get back onto a positive winning streak. Fat Tony, if you're watching or listening, I know you are every day, bro. I can't find my swag chain T-shirt. I don't know what happened to my swag chain T-shirt. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know, man. I can't find it. My daughter went to the game the other night. She's like, Dad, where's the swag chain T-shirt? I'm like, I don't know. I can't find it.
That's why they
Stick
sucked.
around. Yeah, I guess so. Stick around. Plenty more to come, including John Clayton around the corner.
We'll be right back with more of Scott Kaplan and crew tonight. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
Kaplan and Crew Tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
Arash Markazi here, inviting you to catch my show, The Arash Markazi Show, on the mightier 1090. We are on every Monday through Friday from noon to 1 p.m. Pacific time. Join me and producer extraordinaire G. Wiley, where we chop up Los Angeles sports and try not to piss too many people off.
The all-new and mightier 1090.
It's like the spirit of Greenwood is all over the place in Tulsa, North Tulsa specifically. It's like it's not just one location anymore.
This is the beginning. This is a launching pad. This is not something that we just did to come together just for this moment.
The Spirit of Greenwood is brought to you by Multicultural Health Foundation. The vaccine can protect us. Will you? Verify and trust.
People often ask me, what is the Ronald McDonald House? We are a home away from home for families with a child in medical crisis. We opened our doors in 1980, and ever since then, our job has been to support families who have a child in the hospital. And those families often have kids who are very sick or perhaps injured. We're literally 5 minutes from the bedside here at the Ronald McDonald House. So if a mom and dad need to get to the bedside, they can get there very quickly. If it's possible to imagine a child in the hospital, you can begin to imagine the stress that a mom and dad are under when they're in there acting as partners in care for their child. Our job really is to give them a place where they can find some respite, some relaxation for a moment or two before they head back to the hospital. If you'd like to support the Ronald McDonald House, visit our website at rmhcsd.org. You can make a donation, you can learn how to volunteer, you can learn more about exactly the programs and services we provide. There's even a wish list there, so you can send or drop off the kinds of supplies we need here to care for families 24 hours a day, every day of the year.
Kaplan and Crew Tonight presents Sports in a Minute.
San Diego State alum Xander Schauffele took gold in the men's individual stroke play event at the Tokyo Games on Sunday. The Games are Schauffele's first Olympics. He is the fourth men's golfer to capture gold in Olympic history and the second American. Schauffele maintained the lead most of the weekend. He got started with an opening round 3 under 68, then in the second round on Friday fired an 8 under 63. On Saturday, he carded another 68, leading by 1 stroke over host country Japan's Hideki Matsuyama. In the final round, Schauffele notched a 4 under 67, finishing the event at 18 under 266. Keep an eye out on the 5 this week in San Diego. There will be a billboard going up honoring Schauffele's gold medal. I'm Haley Stasiak. That's your Sports in a Minute. Now back to more Kaplan and Crew Tonight.
Pete Gray Ray here, inviting you to catch my show, Let's Talk Hookup, every Saturday and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific Time. For over 30 years, we've been the voice of the fishing community for Southern California, and so glad to be back on the big stick.
The all-new and mightier 1090.
Explore the Southwest lifestyle, the culture, the music, the food, y más. Join hosts J.R. Cardenas and Vanessa Ramirez on Su Vida. Enjoy the food, discover new artists, and fun things to do.
Watch Su Vida, Sunday night at 7 on Your View. Brought to you by Harrah's Resorts, Southern California. It's more than a place, it's a state of mind.
Love promise moments are part of the mission of what we do here at Subaru El Cajon. A love promise moment is when we as human beings deliver an experience beyond exceptional to any one of our guests, and then that guest's life is positively affected by that interaction. It's amazing to watch what happens when two human beings talk on that level and create something magical. And sometimes they drive away with a car, sometimes they don't, but we've had an impact on that person's life, and that's the magic. You know, our employees react to things like Make-A-Wish, Feeding San Diego, and the other groups we help by jumping in.
This year, through COVID, we were able to help a little girl out and got her a rather large scooter that she needed for mobility.
We gave up our Christmas party as employees, and we actually adopted a wish of a young girl here in El Cajon, and we gave her a 3-wheel scooter so she didn't have to use her wheelchair all the time. It gives me goosebumps even thinking about it.
Let's take it up a notch with Kaplan and Crew tonight's Premium Boost, powered by the mightier 1090.
San Diego is a great place for deep sea fishing because it's home of the largest sport fishing fleet in the world. You can go on a half-day trip, a full-day trip, multi-day trip, all the way up to 18 days to catch tuna and wahoo, or just locally here to catch yellowtail. When booking a deep sea fishing excursion out of San Diego, there's several resources, and of course, the San Diego landings have great web pages. Seaforthlanding.com, fishermanslanding.com, PointLomaSportFishing.com are the perfect resource to book your next fishing vacation out of San Diego. What you need to do to have fun in the sun while you're out fishing is, of course, you'll have to obtain a California fishing license or a Mexican fishing license, depending on where the trip goes, and then get set up with tackle. All the landings have all the tackle for rental, and they'll give you all the guidance on the boat for catching a lot of fish here in San Diego. What you should wear out on the water when you're fishing here in San Diego? Layers. And that's the key, because you're probably not going to get very wet because you're going to go out on a nice day, but just be prepared for layers because it can get pretty cool on the water. You know, summertime is always the best, from I would say June through September, but prime months actually in San Diego, September, October are probably the 2 prime months. Best water conditions and probably the most abundance of fish. So as far as taking your fish home, they'll fillet the fish for you on the boat and put it into a package for you, or you can use one of the local processors like Fisherman's Processing that'll vacuum seal and freeze your fish so that you can put it in your cooler and take it home and eat it. Depending on how long your excursion is, you can go anywhere from a half-day trip for around $50 plus your license, all the way up to a multi-day trip that maybe costs several $100s per day. But a full-day trip is going to cost you about $150 a day, depending on the Mexican license or California licenses that you need to get.
Kaplan and Crew tonight's Premium Boost is powered by the mightier 1090. Kaplan and Crew tonight is brought to you by BMW San Diego, your certified BMW dealer, serving drivers throughout San Diego and the surrounding areas.
Shelter to Soldier selects dogs from shelters and rescue groups all throughout California. Our ideal candidate at Shelter to Soldier is 8 months to a year and a half old. They're confident in different environments. They have strong social drive, another motivator like food or toy drive. And ultimately, these are dogs that want to have a job and that have a greater purpose to become a service dog. Currently, about 85% of our dogs pass their service dog training. But if they don't pass, they become a career change. We don't like to use the word failure around here. So career change to an emotional support animal Or if that doesn't work out, then they career change to a pet dog, still finding a loving placement and purpose in life.
Thank you for joining us. Catch Scott Kaplan and crew tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Pacific every Monday through Friday. The very best from today's Scott Kaplan and crew show on the mightier 1090 AM. A new generation of radio. SoCal Sports Talk.
Welcome to another